today what we're gonna be doing today is we're gonna replace our heater core. So this is a Lincoln Aviator. The year is '05. The first thing we're gonna do, let's go ahead and pop the trunk, and we're gonna unplug the battery, both terminals, as far as the negative and the positive. So now that we have the terminals are basically unplugged. All right, so the very next thing we're gonna do before we start the process, we're gonna, before we unplug the heater core pipes, which located right underneath this cover right here, right against the firewall. The first thing that I do is drain my antifreeze. So let me remove the cover from here. And once I remove the cover, and the heater core pipe will be exposed. So as you can see through in here, I already undo mine. Let me bring that up a little bit. So you can see the pipe. It's already been on light, so you can see my pipe. So I already drained my antifreeze. This is a new one. So basically, this is what the new one or the replacement one look like. Where I like to start first is basically over here, your glove compartment. So the way to drop that is press this hand in, just like so. Press that in, and press the other hand in. Okay, I'm gonna have to, once you press that in, and both would actually, this whole thing will fall below. So they come with little bushing as far as the little rubber or whatever thing. So, and just remember to, it just come from right here. So I'm gonna push that right in there, and I believe the other end should have one too, but apparently it doesn't. So to eliminate that, to take the whole glove compartment off, so you're gonna take these screws off. The screws off is about 3 of them, 1, 2, 3. So once you take all 3 of them off, then this whole thing come out. Then we're gonna start going out and drop the steel wheel. Just drop it down. So once you remove the glove compartment thing, so you just go ahead and place it on the side and move on to the next one. So I may go ahead and undo that. Everything is just snap in. So basically what you do, you just unsnap it from the corner right here, and it should just come off. See little clips. You do the same thing with that one. You undo this, just snap in, take that out. So, and then this water seal right here, whatever you call that, you undo this, take the whole thing out. Just put that on the side. And this little thing right here, you're gonna use a flat screwdriver and pop that, because there's screws right here. You're gonna be able to make these screws right here visible. Basically, this what I was talking about. So what you do, you just use a flat screwdriver and pop that out. And this is gonna be your two main screws, this one and that one. So far on this side, you're probably gonna have the same amount on the other side. This is just the passenger side, okay? So just to let you know, give you a good vision, that's just the passenger side. So now we move from the driver's side. So now we're gonna try, we're gonna drop the steering column down. We're gonna lower it down. So before we do that, we have to take that cover off. You got one screw here, and you have another screw here. Once you remove both screws, then the whole cover like just come off. So basically, like I said, once you remove those screws, the top is basically snap in. Same thing with the other side, the rest of them snap in, and just gently take it off, just unsnap it gently. Try not to break anything. This side over here, we're gonna do the same thing that we did on the other side. Flat screwdriver, just pop that. All right. And of course, we're gonna remove that too, same way. Then see the same thing. We got two screws over here too. That's basically holding the dashboard. So, and that little cover right here, we're gonna remove that too, same way we did from the other side. The same way we're doing over here as far as the driver's side. And that cover right there, we're gonna remove that. Okay. This is the handle as far as the latch to undo your hood. So there's a screwdriver, there's a screw right there before you remove that cover. So once you undo that screw, this whole thing should come out. And by the way, you have to remove that right here first. That will latch them. So you got to remove that, undo that screw, then this little cover should come out. So we get that off. We already got the little screw over there off. So we got this whole thing out. When you're getting ready to remove the radio, and as far as anything on this area, so make sure that you set your vehicle on emergency brake, because basically once you're done with the area and everything, you're gonna have to place the vehicle on the lowest gear as possible, all the way far behind, so you can have space to pull back the dashboard. So by doing so, make sure you remember to place your the vehicle as far as apply the emergency brakes, which I'm just gonna do it and apply it right now, so I don't have to think about it. So you go ahead and apply your emergency brake. So as you can see, I'm not gonna drop my my steering yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and do what I have to do, so I still can have the driver's seat, so I can use it and sit on it and do what I have to do. So that's probably one of the last thing I'm gonna do as far as dropping my steering. So to remove the radio, as far as cover, whatever case you want to call it, as you can see, this radio is basically aftermarket, so it's no big deal. It just unsnap this and this whole thing come out. So I can't tell you whether or not if it's supposed to be that easy, but that's basically what it takes. And to remove the radio itself, there's a screw here and a screw right here. And after that, as far as the vent, you got the two vent, and you got the clock, and you got the controls, you know, stuff like that. So this is a snap, and make sure you just be careful, you know, break anything. As you can see, the way I'm doing it, don't copy from me like that, because I need to be careful not to break anything. So just be careful with the wires, so you know, stuff like that. So basically that's what it takes. And I got that one out. And as far as the controls at the bottom, as far as temperature, there's a one screw here, another screw here, and this whole thing pop out. And yep. As far as your temperature control, so undo the connection right here. Just they basically from the back here, so undo them and just place that from the side. And again, as far as the radio, so once you pull that radio out, and you got this connection right here, that's your antenna. And of course, as I mentioned before, that's an aftermarket radio, so you can see how the wires and look like. So you just undo that, unplug that, and the whole radio should be disconnected. So once we got the radio out, so this little vent cover thing, you just snap that come out, put that on the side. So basically, after you remove the AC control knobs, as far as the AC controls and everything, you're gonna remove that, try to maneuver it, and you know, just to a certain point where you can actually work around it. And you're gonna remove that side cover right here at the bottom, just unsnap it, and this whole thing should come out. And you're gonna, there's a little piece right here on top of it. You're gonna just remove that. There's no screw that hold that little piece, and the bottom piece you just took off, it just snap in. Just remove that, and you're gonna do the same thing from the other side. Same thing that you just did from the driver's side, you're gonna do the same thing from the other side. So basically, what you're trying to do is you're trying to separate. See that line right there? You're trying to separate that, which is the dashboard. That's part of the dashboard. That's where the dashboard stops right here. So as far as the where you control the windows, the connection is, you got the connectors right here. So go ahead and undo those, so this whole thing will come out. So basically, to remove the whole glove, city compartment case, you're gonna have to come. You're gonna have to push the chair all the way forward by controlling right here. Push it all the way forward, close to the steering wheel. That's as far as you can go. Then you come right there, back on the side here. This is the back of the chair, and you come right here. See that little vent? Then you basically open that little cover right here, and this screw that you're looking at right here, you're basically gonna take that screw out, and there's another screw from the other side, same way. And the size of the screw is basically, the socket that fit it is a 10 millimeter socket. So now I'm doing the driver's side one. So basically, once you get both of them out, so the thing would just, we have 2 screws down here right under the steering column. That's basically holding the dashboard frame, and on the other side is basically the same thing too. So you got that bracket coming up and the 2 screws up here. So we're gonna go ahead and remove that. So in the process of lower the steering wheel, this bracket right here, there's a screw right here, and there's a screw right in there. So we're gonna remove that the bracket by removing the 2 screws. And basically our next job is this little vent right here, right on top of the dashboard as far as the windshield from the inside. We're gonna just pop that open, clip it, and there's a little cable right here. So that's your whatever alarm thing, you know, the little lights when you your security alarm. So that little thing right here, so be careful. We're gonna undo that and remove that. So we got that out. So this is basically your security alarm. I mean, as far as the little lights when you lock your vehicle, that little thing blinking. So that's basically what the connection was for. So as far as now, let's see how many screws we have here. It looks like we have only one here. If you can see it, which is right here. I don't see any. So it looks like it's only one, maybe 2. Yeah. So it's 2 of them. And look at what I found. The pencil. So anyway, so there's one here. And the other one is over there, so that's all we have to remove. The last screw from the on top of here, so we're removing that. We had to remove that one. So we will move in this one right here. That's a big bolt. So it's basically bigger than this one right here. Don't forget to remove the handle. As far as right here, that's the driver's side. The passenger side, there's no handle, but you're gonna have to remove that little part right here that clips all it is just clip. But as far as this handle right there in the passenger side, you're gonna get a little screwdriver or flat screwdriver or something and take that off. And there's a screw right there. You're gonna remove that screw. Same thing at the bottom right here, so that the whole handle would actually come off. Then again, you're gonna remove that cover right here and do the same thing with the driver's side. So you should be able to hold that and bring this forward, which is the whole dashboard on this side forward. Then you'll do the same thing on the other side. So once you remove that, you should be able to pry that just like so. So you can see you got one in, pry out. This is the this thing that's basically, you need to, once you pull that side out, make sure you watch for that one right here. See? So all this, that's one side that's just pry out. So we're gonna go ahead and pry the other side out and get it gently, little by little. You just putting the dashboard out gently, little by little, side by side. Now on this side, you're gonna do the same thing. Pry that out, take that out. All right, make sure you take this screw, these little bolts out, and the little screw right here, take that out. So this thing basically is what is the release for the emergency brake. So drop that. Once you take this bolts off and that screw off, this bracket right there will drop down. And because the cable for the emergency brakes are actually hooked up to that, and that mount to the frame of the dashboard. So you would find some problem or get some problem by not doing that. So make sure you do that. Then drop it down. This whole bracket would actually drop down once you remove those little two bolts. So basically, once you do that, this is how it separates. That thing right here, this is what guide the dashboard when you place it back in the frame. So this is what actually guide it to stay there, so you can go ahead and put your bolts in. So there's one on this side, this one on the other side. So now remember, right on the passenger side, this connection right here is right there on the side. As you can see, right there by the door from the inside. Make sure you undo that connection, because that's gonna prevent you from pulling back this side right there. As far as the dashboard, when you're trying to pull it back, that's gonna put kind of prevent you from doing that. So that came from the top, just like this. I don't know if you can see it. So just like this, it goes in here, and that came from the top right here. Again, not the bottom, but the top. So you're gonna do the top cable, and that's gonna free the this portion right here, as far as the dashboard, from the corner, as far as the actual body of the vehicle. So make sure you do that, because again, if you don't do that, as you're trying to pry that open, this thick cable right here gonna prevent you from doing that. And make sure you don't damage your antenna up here. So kind of undo that, kind of unsnap that from here. So you unsnap it, so give you room so you don't damage the antenna wire. So once you get all that side over here free, and make sure as you're going along the way, you slowly pull that top of the dashboard out slowly, and you going along the way until you get the other side of the driver's side same way loose. From the driver's side, there's a bunch of cables. You're gonna have to undo them too, because if you don't undo the cables, you're gonna have problem, like major problem, trying to pull that side out. So make sure you undo the cable, all the cables, before you go ahead and pull anything out. As for the driver's side, so this piece right here, in order to get to that the same piece I was showing, I just showed you from the passenger side, so you're gonna have the same connection as far as wire hardness on the driver's side. It's right there next to the door. So this is the door, and it's right there. You're gonna have to remove the cover and everything from here to get to that piece. So alright, so I have other job that I'm doing in this area, so I had to remove all my as far as a lot of stuff up here. I got extra jobs, so if I'm doing one job, I just go ahead and take the opportunity and do that. But anyway, so you don't have to remove everything that you see that I just removed, but you can just, once you get access to that piece, just go ahead and undo that piece. So I'm gonna go ahead and undo that piece and show you how you can undo that piece, so you have an idea what you're dealing with. So as far as the bottom, so I went ahead and dropped that. So once you loosen the bolt, you can see this whole thing is coming out the case. It's releasing from the case. So it's probably already loose right now. So this is how it goes. Okay. Now one thing I need to tell you, you see that piece right there that was connected to that piece when we separate that piece? Make sure you fish that piece through that hole back in. Okay, so let me repeat that. When we undo that connection, remember we took the bolt off, so it separated the two pieces. So you're gonna keep the top piece right there separate from the bottom piece, and this piece right here that you're looking at from the inside with the black piece on it. So this piece is gonna hook here. Okay, this little hook right there. So you're gonna undo that, unhook it, and get a screwdriver just like so. Pry that screwdriver, insert it through that hole right there, and then pry that piece exactly where you see how it just pry right there on the side. So to make room to fish that piece right into that hole, because if you don't do that, it's gonna prevent that piece. It's gonna look like a hook. Okay, it's gonna prevent you from pulling this side of the dashboard out. There's a connection right here that's preventing me. Let me get the light. All right, so there's a connection, this connection right here. So as you can see, that mount from the dashboard and somehow going to this direction. So you see that bridge right here? So I'm gonna go ahead and snap that, just insert that and undo that connection. And as you're going, okay, so you will see, take your time, you will see what in your path was blocking you, was stopping you, was preventing you from loosening up and making the dashboard free. So take your time and do it. If you have help, so it make it easy on you and faster. But job like that, you're not trying to do it faster, so you're trying to do it as accurate, and take your time to do it right, just right. So once you have that big piece separate on top, see that wire? There's another wire that leads all the way to the bottom, which is right here. So you're gonna undo that wire also. That's the wire right there. So a little snap right there. Let's see if I can. So this is the wire. So now you got the whole thing separate from the dashboard. Alright, we went ahead and removed that. And when you're removing that cover right here, there's a lot of connection, so be careful. You got connection, so when you're unplugging them, just be careful you don't damage them. Basically, it was only 2 screws, I believe. One from here on that side. I think it's right there below, right here. And the other one was right here. So once you remove the 2 screws, you go ahead and pry the whole thing forward. And now basically to remove the dash RPM screen, you know, whatever you call it, this thing that right here, 2 screws, one here and one there. So you move that and you work, you just gently and work the whole thing out so you can remove it. This basically come from with 2 connections, one here and one over there. So once you got it loose, just go ahead, here's the connection, undo the connection. In order for you to basically completely remove the dashboard, you have, when you look underneath here, see that screw right there? You got a screw right here. There's a bracket that's coming from the front right here, that metal piece, and the bracket is like a bridge, and it basically screw, that little screw right there, that's the bracket right there from underneath this cast iron piece of part of the dashboard. In order to remove that, you can actually remove that by inserting a wrench, a small wrench. But even if you remove that with a small wrench, there's another screw that was right here, okay? That's basically the part of the vent right here that was attached to that, and not just the vent, because this is part of the dashboard cast iron piece right here. So which means for you to basically loose that part, the best, you basically gonna have to remove everything in here, just like you're looking at what I'm doing right here. Just like this, what you're looking at, you're gonna have to remove everything here to get to that bolt and that bolt right there at the bottom. So once you remove this piece right here, this little bolt right here, okay, and this pipe will get loose, then you can just go ahead and remove the whole thing by unscrewing it. There's a screw right there. Just remove that screw for the vent, then this whole thing will basically come out, and there might be a screw somewhere in here when you remove the radial. As you go along, you will see. So that will give you a better, once you remove that vent, vent pipe, that will give you a better view what you're dealing with. So undo that screw, and this whole thing should basically come loose. We removed the pipe that was here, so now we have a good view of here. So we're just gonna remove that little bolt right here, and we should be good. Before I remove the steering wheel from here, there's the bolt. As you can see it, there's the bolt that I'm gonna have to take out and to remove the whole steering wheel from here. But before you do that, so what you need to do is, the reason why I have that wire hanger is basically I don't want my steering to basically move from the steering box. Okay, so that's the reason why I tight that, so prevent it from moving. So because you don't want that. So here we go. Once we remove the bolt and we just pull the steering wheel, the whole steering wheel from here, and we disconnect it from here. So now this is the reason why we put that the wire hanger, just to prevent that from turning. So now we got more space. We're gonna go from the other side little by little. So this is how, see, you just can remove it, and the more you move it, this is, and we look at this box right there. That's where your basically heater core is basically at. So this is what we have. We got the whole dashboard finally out. We're gonna take that pipe off, one screw here and another screw here, and this whole thing should come off. Which is whatever you do on this side is basically the same thing on the other side. Yeah, this is a mess. Now there's a screw right here, so a little bolt right here. So right in here, I did not notice that, so I took that off right in here. So that's already been taken off. If you have a drill, I have a drill here, so that's what I use to make the majority of the job a little faster. So it come pretty handy. So to get access to the heater core itself, now this is, you'll be from the driver's side. This is, the passenger side. So to get access to the heater core, so basically all you have to do is, you're gonna take, is a screw here, actually one here, one here, one here, and it's basically two screws here that's actually holding this bracket right here. So once you remove the two screws here, the bracket is out, but just shove it on the side. Then hypothetically speaking, or technically speaking, there's three screws that's basically holding that cover right here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So once you remove those 4 screws, then you remove that cover right there. Then this is the heater core pipe going through the firewall, through the front of the vehicle, and this is your heater core right there at the bottom. So basically what I'm probably gonna be removed, because that's the case, that's the heater core case. Remove that screw right here, and possibly this one right here, and that should drop down the whole thing, and 2 basically on the other side. So here we go, and basically this is the heater core, and we see water residue. So of course it was a big problem with the heater core. So now this thing right here, at the end of the day, it's a whole, I mean, it has a lot to do as far as removing the heater core, but most heater core will be basically mount somewhere on top, but not lower to the floor like that. Now, I cannot tell you whether or not was it worth pull the whole dashboard out. Did everything that I just did, I can't tell you was it worth it, or I could have just pulled one side of the dashboard and then lift it up and have enough space to take, you know, what I needed to remove, and instead of all that. But lesson learned, and don't know. But anyway, so it's out, and when you removing this case with exactly with the I guess they call it reservoir, just in case there was a leak, but you can see there was that's a watermark right here. So be careful trying not to damage it. Just be very careful. And I believe that's a water drain right here. So I believe that's that drain from outside. Yep. So that drain from outside in case this thing is draining, or I believe that's probably condensation when condensation build up, so it drained from here. So I believe so. That's probably condensation from sweating, heat or cold, whatever. So anyway, this is it. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean here before I start putting things back together. And once again, I mentioned I'm open there, see how bad is my cabin filter looks like. So, and we're gonna go ahead and compare the old heater core with the new one, see exactly if we get the same part, because this one never been changed, so the one we have is aftermarket. So basically, to remove the cabin filter cover, you're gonna have to remove a few screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back here, and from this side 6, 7 all the way back here. So once you remove those, you can go ahead and how much dust and trash we found here. So technically, whatever, we were hoping to find a filter like some kind of something that looks like an air filter. So it's not a filter. So it's basically every now and then you're supposed to, I guess every couple years or a few years, you're supposed to take this apart. I mean, just look how much work we have to do just to move the dashboard. So who wants to do that job? So we're gonna go ahead and clean that cover, whatever, real good, and clean that blower. So this is the blower in there. It's not sealed. It can spin, so just make sure it spins real good. So we're gonna make sure we're gonna clean that real good, vacuum that real good before we put it back together.